What's going on, everybody? Hopefully you guys can hear me all good. We are live. S95, nope, S90F, not S95F. Getting that later. But this is the Samsung S90F QD-OLED version. I say QD-OLED version because some regions it is a WOLED, so you gotta be aware of that. But I'm gonna let some people roll in. How is everybody doing today? Hope everybody's doing good. Gonna go through some demo content here. Type in chat if you guys can hear me all good. If something's wrong with my audio, let me know. If I'm too loud, okay, sounds good. Okay, I hear myself. That's not good. Where I hear myself from? Oh, okay, it's just my phone. All right, we're good. We're good. I was confused. All right. So I have two different cameras set up today. This is my main camera. This is going to be my cinema camera. It's a 6K camera. The stream is in 4K. It should be in 4K. If it's not in 4K, let me know. But yeah, the stream should be in 4K. If you have any issues with it, let me know. Once I get this comment stuff working, I'll start looking at chat a little bit more. So let me set that up real quick while you guys look at these demos. If something's up, let me know. I'll adjust it. Trying to figure out why I can't pull up chat. Alright, here we go. There it goes. They're still doing that might get cutie OLED thing. Yeah, so it's not really a lottery, but you can figure out which one you're getting just by looking at the last four of the model. If you typically see FAE, that means a WOLED. In some regions, FAT is QD-OLED. Some regions, FAF is QD-OLED. Like in the US, for example, all the QD-OLEDs are FAF. And yeah, 65, 55, 77 is guaranteed QD-OLED in the States. In the US. I'm not sure about Canada, but I would imagine they get the same thing as us, region based. But just look at the last four, like I was saying. If it's FAE, then it's a WOLED. Like here we have FAEXA, and that is going to be WOLED if you have that. So you can see that on the 42 and 48 inch. Those are always going to be WOLED regardless of where you're at. So oh yeah, so I'm not really sure what's going on with this right now with the prices, Jiraiya. So let me just say this. I think that what we're seeing is Samsung maybe raising the price to match LG, and what they had initially is just an introductory price. So if you want to get the S90F or S95F, I'd probably act today if you're gonna buy it within the next month. If you're not buying it within the next month, just wait, because like come late May, early June, it will be cheaper than it is right now. So hey, what's going on, Max? Hope you're doing good, man. Okay, well then that's unfortunate because Canada looks like they're going to be getting some WOLED variants of the S90F. So that 55-inch specifically there, that would be a WOLED. So you see how it says S90F AEX? That's a WOLED. If it said FAF, then it would be a QD-OLED. Is the G5 better than the S90F at 42 inches? So I don't think they make a G5 in 42 inch. And the S90F in 42 inch is a WOLED. But I don't think they make a G5, and I'm pretty sure they don't make a G5 in 42 inch. S90F is a glossy. S95D. Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. So yeah, let me get into my impressions kind of this S90F so far. I think personally right now, as soon as I set it up and got it working how I want it to work, I thought it looked very similar to what the S95D looks like. Brightness wise, it doesn't strike me as a mid-range OLED. So last year, I felt like the S90D was very similar to the LG C4. I have a feeling that this year when I put up the LG C5 against the S90F, I think the S90F is going to actually like spank it pretty good, dude, honestly. That's the kind of brightness I'm getting out of the S90F. So I think it's very similar in brightness level to the S95D. And there's already an outlet out there called hi-fi.de. They're a German outlet. And they measured the S90F. And their readings were very similar to the S95D of last year. So if you guys wanted an S95D without the screen coating, this is it. Pretty much. I mean, give or take maybe a little bit of difference. And I want to pause it on this thing right here because I want to demonstrate to you guys, like, sometimes I have to change the camera in order to see certain things. Whoops, I didn't mean to change the focus. But as you can see me drop the exposure, you can see the true color volume and the true color brightness come to life, right? See, but if I raise the exposure, you won't be able to get like the clear look. So I have to crush some shadows in order to show you that. So that's the unfortunate thing about all cameras, which is why I have two cameras set up. This one on the left is a really bad camera. So this is a camera that is the DJI Osmo, not a great TV camera, not something to show what's going on that great, right? Just change the focus, my bad. Okay, we're good. So I set up two cameras for that specific reason though, so that you could see it like in two different ways. Just to give you an idea of like what you're watching on YouTube is not always going to be representative of the like what the TV is capable of. It's all about the exposure and how you set it. So if you ever see this like losing color, know that it's not. It's just you got to pick your poison kind of on this camera stuff because you either show the full capability of brightness or you show the shadow detail. See what I mean here? It's like it's not really that dark, but if I raise it up, you're going to start seeing the color kind of wash out. So that's why if you're watching a comparison video, you can't just judge it by what you're seeing. You really can't, because you might be looking at something and you're like, oh, that looks washed out. But in reality, you know, it's not. Or you could say, oh, that looks really crushed. But in reality, it's not. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to really pay attention to the presenter. So like if HDTV test shows you something, you have to go by his words, not by what you're seeing. You know, if I show you something You gotta go by my words, not what you're seeing. If Classy shows you something, you gotta go by the words, not what you're seeing. Same thing with FOMO, same thing with Brian, same thing with Brandon. It doesn't matter who shows you anything, you have to go off their words. Because the camera only shows so much, right? The camera's just like eye candy, really. You could kind of see what the TV's capable of. And when they're side by side, I think that's the better thing, right? When you have two TVs side by side, that's probably the better example, all in all. So I just throwing that out there so you guys know, and don't get confused that like a TV is doing one thing or the other. It's truly just how the camera's portraying it and how you have the camera set up. Do you see a difference in processing at first glance? Like IQ, motion, upscale. Motion seems really fine on this TV. I thought the S95D had good motion as well. So I don't really have a problem with the motion on this TV. As far as processing goes, all I could say right now is it looks good. I don't have it next to anything, so I can't really judge it based off that yet. Now, I will be probably putting it up against a couple of OLEDs in the next couple of days. Tuesday, I get the S95F. You know, those will be the same processor, but eventually I'm going to get the C5 and the G5. We can see how it goes up against those. And I have the Bravia 8 in my house right now, the old one, not the old one, the current Bravia 8. Right now I have that one, but it's not the QD OLED version. It's the Mark 1, you know? Yeah, the Bravia 8 Mark II price tag is kind of wild, honestly. It's pretty expensive. I don't expect it to launch at that price. I think they will probably go down a little bit before launch or at launch. '77 S90F will be the same price as the 65 Bravia 8. Yeah. Right now it is. I don't know if that's going to change or not. All right. If I miss your comment or something, you know, just type it again. Sometimes it is hard to see comments. Oh, that's fine. All right. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I saw that LG unlocked apparently according to some people on AVS, I believe SD said that. I'm not sure, but I think SD said that. And yeah, this is cool. It's good news. Hopefully that's the case on the C5 as well. Guess we'll find out. All these years of complaining finally paid off, right? I don't have a market share graph, but that would be really cool. Um, you know, I don't think TV manufacturers really share that data often. And if they do, it's probably only with shareholders, unfortunately. I'm gonna go to the Sony demos because I really like the Sony demos. try to raise up this a little bit so you can get a little bit of view. Like I said, you gotta strike a balance, either shadow detail or not, right? How's the uniformity? So far, I mean, I'm not seeing anything that looks bad. I've only tested it with real content, so I've yet to look at like slides or anything like that, gray slides. When I'm checking out a TV for the first time, I like to check to see if anything pops out with real content first. I've yet to really game on it too. I haven't really set up game console on it yet. I might do that this stream. We'll see. See how far we go and how many people are interested and stuff. What I might do is 2 separate streams today. As weird as that sounds, I might do one stream, like just kind of going through demos, take a little bit of a break, come back an hour later, do another stream. That way it's not going to be this long 3-hour marathon stream like I usually do. And then I don't know if Max is in the chat, but if you want to hop on, you can. Why'd they fire Mike Malone? I don't really know. That's a good question. Yeah, that blew my mind too. I was kind of surprised by that. Caught off guard. Big time. Yeah, there's some sort of delay with the LG OLED models. I can't get my hands on a G5 for nothing, man. Like, I've been trying. So I ordered one from the official LG store, and I got like a text saying that it's delayed until May 5th. And I know Best Buy doesn't have the 55 and 65 inch. Currently, I think the 77 and 83 are the only ones you can get. Yeah, give me 30 minutes. Yeah, all right. You could take more time than that if you want. Like I said, I can take a break after this stream and we can start it up again when we get to the gaming part. See better depth in 3D compared to S90D. It's hard to say without the S90D next to it, right? I think I'll get a better understanding of the processing and what they're doing with the edge enhancement once I get it next to the Bravia 8, because the Bravia 8 does that as well. And I think so far, just judging it based off of viewing solo by itself, the edge enhancement seems really good. It seems fine. It does definitely pop out there times. Does it have that same effect like, say, the G4? It's hard to say. Like I said, I'll know once I get the G5 in, because I will do comparisons with the G5 and the S90F as well, because I think that is actually a really important one to do, because some people are just going to be buying a TV for gaming, and maybe this is enough for a lot of people, especially, considering I basically think it's like a S95D right now, just without the screen code, and that's what it reminds me of. It's another example. If I raise you lose some of that deep blue. This has the deepest blue, but you lose some of that when you raise up the brightness in this. So I believe so, yeah. I think a lot of people are starting to get like negative feelings towards the S95 series because of the screen coding. It's not going to be for everybody, right? It's kind of like a specific use case, or you can light control your room. If you could light control your room, that screen coding is not a problem. Like zero problems. G5 should be pretty cool for gaming, yeah. I mean, I love the G4 with gaming last year, so yeah, it was pretty cool, man. I gotta say. I'll raise the exposure up a little bit. The S90F right now though looks really good. Right now I have it in filmmaker mode, I believe. Don't quote me on that. Yeah, filmmaker mode. So movie mode is going to make it a little bit brighter, but that's because it uses the dynamic tone mapping, you know. We'll go ahead and put it on that for now. I'll toggle back and forth, but I'll keep it on movie mode. This is the one with the active tone mapping on it. Might be better for the camera to show, honestly. That way I could lower the exposure a little bit. You still get the deep colors. This is a Sony demo. I've never seen this demo. I need to back the what do you call it up? It had some artifacts on the screen, my bad. Motion's good. Motion's solid. Hope I didn't just make it blurry. Yeah, I think we're good. You have the S90F too? Nice. So far, I haven't seen any problems with motion. I'm not the biggest person to judge motion, though. To be honest with you, I'm not the guy you want to ask about motion. I only see motion problems when they really stick out. Like, not to like knock on Hisense and TCL, but sometimes they have some of the worst motion problems, and I notice those motion problems a lot. You know, Samsung used to have this little stutter. They don't really have that anymore, from what I'm seeing. Um, they didn't have that last year either on the S95D. But other than that, like nothing sticks out for motion. Like I couldn't tell you if there's a little bit of motion interpolation baked in. It's very subtle if there is. So I use filmmaker mode, and that stuff is usually at a minimum. I'm not seeing any jitter, no. Yeah, I think the motion on this TV is good enough for most people. Last year, Classy, he's very sensitive to motion, right? And he did not mind the motion at all on the S95D and the S90D. So I feel like the motion's good enough. If you can satisfy Classy with motion, it's probably good enough, right? I want my SDR games to give me a tan. Some people like bright SDR. Some people do. I do sometimes. It really depends. As long as it doesn't take the color away. Just adjust the camera, my bad. Sorry, I'm not talking. I'm just trying to fix some stuff with the stream. I'm gonna bring in the other camera too, just so I could show you guys like how off the other camera can be sometimes, and also it kind of just gives you a different perspective view. I know some of you guys like this kind of camera. It just depends, right? Is this much brighter than the S90C 77-inch? I believe so, yeah. If we're going by like the early measurements that we saw from hi-fi .de, looks like it's very similar to the S95D of last year, so not bad. Yeah, Sony better get more competitive with their pricing for sure. Some people though will just buy a Sony though, just because they like Sony, they trust Sony. There's a lot of reasons people buy Sony. There's a lot. I mean, this is the same reasons why people buy Samsung and LG, right? They just they like what they do, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. Is this a Gen 3 panel? I keep hearing, I don't know how true this is, but I keep hearing this is a Gen 4 panel. So I don't know where, if that information is true, but that's what's been floating around. I think even FOMO said it was a Gen 4 panel. But again, I don't know like what the truth is behind that. But he heard it from somewhere. He's got good sources. And I've heard it elsewhere too, not just from FOMO. So, whoop. I didn't mean to do that. My bad. Can you look in the service menu to see? Nope. Sorry. Let's see. S90D got a better processor than S90C, S89C. From what I was understanding, is very similar. Those were, but this S90F is a new processor. It's the same processor that's in the S95F. So yeah, they got a little bit of an upgrade this year. I know there's definitely more edge enhancement. Classy said there was more ring on the S95F. He noticed more artifacts. So something that company's been doing lately. They saw what the G4 was doing last year, and they saw that people liked it, and so I think Samsung was like, "All right, we're gonna do it." And so you're starting to see this edge enhancement being applied that you can't turn off. Yeah, I'm not one that looks in the service menu. Sorry, I didn't mean to be like rude or anything. I just don't. I don't do the service menu thing. There's a lot of ways to mess up your TV that way. I don't like to encourage that kind of behavior. I mean, you could go ahead and do it yourself. I'm just not responsible for it. More artifacting, bummer. Every TV has this now. So Sony, LG, Samsung, they're all doing the edge enhancement. It's a glossy screen? Yeah, it's a glossy screen. Doesn't the Gen 4 panel have slightly different panel construction capable of 4,000 nits? If so, combined with the new processor, wouldn't that make it S90F the best OLED? Well, here's the thing. It's capped either way, right? Like, we don't know. We don't know what it's truly capable of. If it's Gen 4, it's capped. We know that. So it could be Gen 3, and we wouldn't know. I don't think there's a different marker. I can put the magnifying glass up to the screen, right, and see, but the pixel structure I don't think changed. So I don't think there's any like physical marker or way to tell. So the biggest one, the one that's the biggest, the main camera is 1 for 1, close to what I'm seeing. The white balance, I've set the white balance on the main camera. On the B camera, whatever that's doing, that's just doing its own thing. I don't know what it's doing. I tried to set the white balance on it, but the B camera is not the one to look at. Definitely want to look at the biggest one on the screen here, the main camera, the one that's adjusting exposure right now. Yeah, that's the one you're gonna want to take a look at. It's gonna be your best bet. But I do like to bring up the two cameras for you guys, just so you can see that difference in like really depends on what camera's filming it. So it's gonna be tough to see the differences unless you have a camera that's set up as, I mean, for the scene really, because you have to adjust it based on every scene. Otherwise, you're either going to crush details, or you're going to blow out the highlights, or you're going to wash out the color. I don't know why this demo showed twice. It's weird. Let's go to the Samsung playlist. Sorry if I missed your question. I will try. It's pretty dim. Okay. Let me raise it up a little bit. Does it look dim still? It's not supposed to be dim. It doesn't look dim in real life. All right. Yeah, I expect this to be insane in gaming. Can't wait to check it out. I'm gonna go full screen on this one. Yeah, because if you go show too much exposure, you start to lose a little bit of color on certain cameras, and the action camera, that's gonna make everything look like, I don't know how to explain it, processed. You know what I mean? So think of the action camera, it kind of does what like your phone does. Like if you film a TV with your phone, it's gonna always it doesn't matter what it is, it's gonna make every TV look good. It can make the worst direct lit, edge lit TVs look good. Like that's what this action camera does. So um I'm not typically I don't use it usually. I just wanted to have it there so that if you're like, oh, this is losing color, it's really not. You know what I mean? I would say so, yeah. I would say so. Pretty similar. I don't want to say it's one for one the same, but it's impressive. I can't wait to get the S95F in here and compare it, because last year the S90F the S90D compared to the S95D. I could see a big difference. The S95D was just better, like by a long shot. So I want to know if there's that difference this year, or if maybe there's not as much of a difference, right? It's kind of hard to tell sometimes with brightness in TVs, because it's not always going to be like the bigger number always sticks out, right? For example, like the 800 nits of a regular OLED was like the top for OLEDs, And then you get the S95B that came out, and that just went a little bit brighter, right? It went to about 1400 nits or something like that, maybe 1300. But like most of the time, it was like probably around 1200 for the peaks. And that looked so much brighter than a regular W OLED. So it's really hard to tell, like how like what's the difference? Is there going to be a big difference? The TV defaults to BT 2020 on movie and filmmaker mode, just like last year's S95D and S90D. Let's see. Trying to catch up with questions and stuff, but it's hard. Cameras don't pick up really any TV properly, but yeah, QD-OLED is definitely like especially tough. Like you have to really lower the exposure to show how good the color is. Really, all the new TVs are tough to pick up. G4 was like that last year too. It looks good though. So far I'm seeing one for one what the camera's seeing. Occasionally the camera washes out the colors a little bit, but not too bad. I could bring in the light a little bit more to exaggerate the colors, but then I'm really crushing and maybe oversaturating too much. I don't want to do that, but if it helps the stream. So yeah, they didn't mess with the Auto 2020 gamut. They didn't. That's still there. Give them test it right here. Hold on. Let me see if I could show you guys. It might not show up on camera, but so by default, you know, it always says DCI no matter what, but it's actually doing the BT 2020. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So I'm in movie mode right now. And go to auto color space, and you can see that it'll always say that no matter what. But if you go to custom and you switch between, you'll kind of know. So Doesn't matter what you switch it to. On auto, it's always going to be BT 2020 for HDR. But I'll get Classy to look at it too and see if he's seeing the same sort of thing on the S90F. Speaking of Classy, he's right here. What's up? How's it going, man? I've got the 2 cameras set up right now. I've got the Osmo on the left so people can see what it looks like through the Osmo action camera, basically. And then I got my cinema camera on the right to try to get it 1-for-1 what I'm seeing. But as you know, you kind of have to lower the exposure to show color sometimes. So you got to pick your poison with these cameras, like I've been telling them. Yeah. So Classy just confirmed it operates pretty much just like how last year's S95D operated and S90D. New processor, it's really hard to judge by itself. I have to have it next to another TV, and I'll do that. We'll get there. I plan on comparing it to the Bravia 8 soon. I don't know if I'm going to do a stream for that or if I'll just do a video for that. I like doing the videos more than streams because I can show you this in HDR. I don't really know how to stream in HDR, but yeah. So, I mean, I really wish I did. We got a super chat from Russell. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Let me blow this up so I can read it. He says, thanks a lot for all the hard work you put into your channel. Really helped me a lot. Hey, thank you, Russell. That means a lot, man. That really does. I appreciate that, and thanks for the super chat. That's awesome. But the message is really nice. I hope that I help a lot of people, in one way or the other. Even if it's just to hang out, you know, talk TVs. And I don't have a lot of friends that like tech, so when I'm able to do these live streams, I can kind of communicate back and forth and nerd out a little bit with you guys at least. I wish I could do more live streams. That's one thing I do want to do. And I think I'll probably get back to it with Max a little bit. But I have been really kind of ambitious with some of the stuff that I'm trying to do with the channel this year. So I also have a freelance job with Sam Mobile. I don't know if you guys see me on that channel at all, but I do work for them as well. So I don't have as much time as I had before, but I do still have time. I don't know if you guys saw my Q7F review also, but I have a new rating system this year. So I'm going to actually give TVs ratings and give them a out of 10 grade, you know? So we'll actually know a little bit better on how these TVs stack up against each other. And I have like created a whole entire weighted system that I put a lot of thought into. So my reviews will be more consistent and have structure to them more so than the past. But they'll still have the same sort of feel to them. I didn't change too much. Just changed for the better, I think. Classy, are you still here? Did you measure the S95F? I don't know if I asked you that. Let's see what we got here. I'm gonna look through chat, see if I missed anything. I'm gonna maybe show some Jennifer Gala content. I know I saw a request for that, so. Classy or Max, if you want to join, just let me know. I'll send you the link. So much easier running a stream when you have like a co-host. It's nice. Because I got to worry about looking at chat, operating the camera, making sure the camera is showing what it's supposed to, even though half the time it's not. Which is why I love shooting in HDR, by the way, because in HDR, I don't have any of the problems that I have when I'm shooting live at all. Because it's just way better. Like, I don't know how to explain it. HDR is so much better for comparisons. Hey, check me out. I know you were asking about it last time. Great to see you live streaming again. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I told you I was gonna get back to it. I just wanted to have something for the audience, right? I just didn't want to talk. Felt like the topics were kind of touched on enough, right? Do I notice the sharpening? Yeah, I mean, it looks really sharp. I know Classy said that he noticed it too, and not he doesn't like it. I don't think. Yeah, he doesn't like it, and I just realized that was directed at Classy. But yeah, I like it. He doesn't like it. Whoops. What did I do? Let me change this back to filmmaker mode and see if I can get the screen to look better or the camera to look better. There. Let's go to the LG demos. I've already seen this one. Sharpness looks incredible. Nice. Yeah, I need the G5, man. I need it. I need to see what all the hoopla is about. Most won't likely notice it, instead like the sharper look. Yeah. It's kind of like the G4 in a way, I guess. I can't really judge it yet because it's not up against anything else. I have the Bravia 8 in the other room, but I need help with it to move it, so I gotta wait till tomorrow to move it. I won't be streaming tomorrow though, I don't think, because FOMO and Brian have their stream, and I don't want people to get streamed out. I don't want to stream after that, and then I don't want people to get burnt out on the streams. Maybe something Sunday. It's possible, right? Lots of artifacts on TVs are due to streaming. Yeah, especially with like motion and stuff. You get a lot of low bit rate artifacts on Samsung still, but I still get low bit rate artifacts on like every TV, but Samsung definitely has like this look to it on darker scenes. Classy was showing me examples of it. Doesn't look like it's fixed this year. I don't really watch that much content like that, so I don't notice it. Only if I do like specifically turn it on for that reason. Right, exactly. Samsung already raised prices today. On their website they did, and I think it's going to be reflected on other on other retailers' websites. So if you want a S90F or S95F, probably best to buy like today if you're going to buy within the next month. If not, it'll go up. Of course, it's going to get cheaper, right? Like in a month or two. 2 months definitely it will be cheaper. But if you want an S90F or an S95F within the month, buy it today because the prices will go up to $200. It's looking like. Is there a way to avoid the updates on Samsung TVs if you don't want to update? Yep. Go to software updates. Turn off auto update. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Let's see. By the way, do you guys like this new UI? I love it. I think it's awesome. Um, I think that it's so cool that we finally got it out of the middle of the picture. So if I'm making adjustments, I could just come here and make these adjustments in this, and toggle in between stuff. And if I want to change something with the expert settings, I have that right here. Want to do some SDR and try out this auto HDR remastering since they said they supposedly made it better this year. You know how that goes though. Let's mess around with that. Let's mess around with this color booster real quick. So I'm gonna go into movie mode. I think a lot of people will like movie mode on this TV. A lot of people are gonna like it. Like if you are somebody who really likes that, color pop and stuff, movie mode's probably the way you go. And then you could even throw in some color booster if you want to. Color booster on low. You know what color booster on low reminds me of? Reminds me of live color. So if you guys are familiar with Sony and you like live color, this is basically live color. So saturates the color. Let me show you what it's doing a little bit here. Yeah, it's basically like live color. It doesn't look bad, and it doesn't completely wreck the image. It's just not accurate, it's just what it is. Some people don't care as long as it still looks good to them. All right, let's go with the SDR demos here. Let's see what we got. The movie and filmmaker mode are the same, it looks like. I think that's what it's supposed to be. We'll just keep it like on that. Do you see what? So, see how the action camera just makes everything look bright no matter what? Like I'm in SDR now, right? So the TV is not as bright. But that's just how it goes. Let's find something to pause on and play around with the auto HDR thing. No, I'm just tinkering for fun now. Nothing too much. Don't read into it. All right, so let's see what we can do with this. So we can see that. What is it doing? um, it looks like it's just barely doing something. It's boosting the saturation of the background and maybe like warming up the skin tones more. This isn't doing anything really. Let's try something else. Let's try a different image. Let's go here. Let's see. Yeah, this is like just like warming up her skin. That's it. That's all it's doing. Okay. Contrast enhancer still works about the same. This is contrast enhancer. I figured it out. Like, this is just really a setting that is going to be usable on the cheaper TVs, on the super cheap TVs. So, like, I have the Q7F and I reviewed it, and I actually really like contrast enhancer on that TV. But on the more expensive TVs, like the ones that are more capable, you don't really need it. It doesn't really do anything, and it kind of just hurts the picture most of the time. But on the less expensive TVs, the ones that aren't as capable, it actually makes those look like they have a little bit more to them. So, something to play around with if you got a cheaper TV. Let's see the color booster here. Yeah, this is just boosting live color basically. Yeah, they added this blue light reduction right here. Oh, you guys were asking about the AI, right? So AI mode is a new thing this year. There's AI mode. It's basically like the whatever it was called before. I forgot what it was called before. What was that? Intelligent mode, I think. I think that's basically AI mode now. So you have AI optimized, AI customization. And then I believe if you want the AI customization, I can't remember how to do it. I have to look into it more. So that's that. Let's go to the Sony demos again. Let me answer questions. All right. What's the LG equivalent to live color? Um, let's see. There is something I can't remember the name of it. Oh man, if anybody remembers the name, I have an LG right next to me right now. So, but there you can do something similar to it. I think it's color adjust or something like that. Uh, Color adjustments. It's in the advanced tab for color. Yeah, everybody has bad firmware updates. Just keep your TV offline if you don't like firmware updates. You know, like certain TVs make you update and they like you can't use them unless you update. Hisense, for example. It's kind of annoying. Um, Let me scroll up, see if I missed anything. I'm trying to hit all your guys' questions, but chat chat is scrolling fast. I appreciate everybody for being here. That's cool. Thank you for showing up. I definitely like doing comparisons better than showing off one TV. There's more to talk about, you know, as far as what I'm seeing. So if you show anything on Netflix, don't use Apple TV. Apple TV will look bad with Netflix on Samsung TVs. Really? That's interesting. I have to look into that and see what's going on with that. I usually don't show anything from Netflix to avoid copyright. Be honest, is this better than the G4? It's hard to say. I don't have a G4 next to it. It certainly has better color than the G4, right? Like in higher graded content. That's going to be for sure. It's QD OLED. So I thought the S95D and the G4 were pretty much neck and neck last year, with the edge going to like the G4 because of the edge enhancement and what it was doing with the processing. Basically, the magic sauce that LG put on it. This has some of that, but again, I need to put it next to another TV to really judge it, how much that really benefits it. I'm not sure. I will say this though, for the price, it's really good. It's the same price as the G4 right now though. So that's a great question. I think that's a something to revisit. But I would say like if you want the G4 um versus the S90F, the best thing to do is look at a S95D versus G4 comparison because it's going to be pretty close. This is basically S95D without the coding. Let's go to some Jennifer Gala stuff. I think I got her here. Yeah, I like this demo. start it off right here. Oh, that makes sense. I wonder if it still does that now though, because most of the stuff on there is HDR10 plus now, right? So it should just grab that version now. But you're right, like if I'm doing a splitter or something, probably shouldn't use that if that's the case. Especially if I got a LG connected to it as well. I remember one year I was comparing Outer Banks and it looked so much different on the Samsung compared to the LG, and I wonder if that's what was happening then. Classy, might be time to look at your streaming thing again. I know you did that video. If you guys are looking for a streamer, I believe Classy did a video like 2 years ago about what the best streamer was. And like his conclusion was like there's not really one, but the Apple TV's kind of got the best interface. I don't know. I can't remember. This bird looks cool. But yeah, this is just a showcase stream. I'm not trying to like show anything special with this stream. It's just kind of like hanging out, talking to you guys. I haven't talked to you guys in a while, and I wanted to showcase the S90F. All the comparisons that I do, I might do some comparison streams. Not as much as last year though. I like to save the comparisons for videos because I could do HDR. And I do believe my HDR comparisons are on a different level. So, thanks to this awesome camera that I have. I use two streamers as well. I got a Fire TV and an Apple TV. I'm using the dedicated app right now for YouTube just to show this off. I'm gonna hook up the Xbox real quick if I can find a controller and just see how the setup is going to be. Let's see. Yeah, they should release a new Nvidia Shield. That would be cool. Nah. I don't think Netflix is abandoning Dolby Vision anytime soon. It's just giving you an option for HDR10 plus. All right. I'm gonna put up the Xbox real quick. I'll be right back. All right. Let's see. We're setting up the games right now. Making sure. I had to get some batteries. Bro, every time update my controller, and I don't really want to. Um, 1 second, guys. 1 second. Why? Oh, the What's going on with my controller? Weird. Sorry, guys. My Xbox controller is bugging out. I have to switch to something else here. Bear with me. Yeah, I'll be right back. Don't worry. Alright, I'm back. You guys see the stream? Still say be right back? Alright. So I got this to work finally. Alright, so looks like 1500 nits is where I clipped at. So we'll go off that. Someone says they saw an ad. That's weird. This is never usually ads. I don't know what happened. Let's see. This is the default mode, like for game mode when you're on game mode basic. So it pretty much looks the same. Brightness is at 45. I think that's what it was on last year too. I wonder if this still has that problem that the other one had. Let's see. Oh, that's kind of annoying. I can't see the calibrated image on the left. I mean, I could be wrong. But that's where it disappeared for me. It does look like you might need to reduce the contrast again to avoid clipping. It's like that on the S95D too. Sorry, on the S90D, not the S95D. It was like that on the S90D. Okay, so brightness last year was 40. I knew it was something like that. That was only on the S95D though. So it's 45 here on the S90D or on the S90F. My God, they just be messing these up. All right, so let's see how this looks. All right, it looks really good. Again, it's gonna be really hard to judge unless it's up against something, man. I'm really sad I couldn't like bring the other TV on here today. Ideally, I would have streamed tomorrow, but I didn't want two streams going down. So I have to do another one. Let me look through chat, see if I missed anything. Let me know if you want me to go through anything specifically on game mode for settings. Right now I'm on just regular game mode basic. I will show you it off real quick and go to original and see how that looks comparatively. You definitely have to change this though. I didn't change this yet. So you'll have to change this. It's gonna put you in normal color space right away. You're gonna want to change that to auto, and then if you don't like P3, change it to BT 2020, but it's going to be pretty saturated. It's really gonna be a pick your poison sort of situation. Here. But if you want to go and turn it off, you can do that. Oh wait. So you have to go to the game bar. Game bar looks a little bit different this year, as you can see. Game picture expert. And now I'll go ahead and turn it off. So if I turn it off, I did notice the brightness went down. Sports, don't want to put that. All right, so let's look at this game mode original. And then you could set your Xbox up differently if you use game mode original. That's probably why it reduced the brightness, because it's not set up for that. Let's look at color space. Nothing that really gives it away there. Probably need a more colorful game here. Yeah, so it's BT 2020 in original by default, no matter what. It's so original operates like filmmaker mode and movie mode, like Classy was saying. And then if you turn on the game picture expert and go basic or advanced, then it's gonna be in P3, unless you change it in custom. But then I imagine it's wildly inaccurate, if that matters to you. Correct me if I'm wrong, Classy, on that one, but I believe that's how that works. Some S90D were 1200 nits and some were 1000 nits. Yeah, I heard the later ones were less bright or something like that. No, the later ones were less bright and the earlier ones were brighter. That's what I heard. I don't know that like how much truth there is to that, but you see them all the time because you calibrate them. So you could kind of shine some light on that a little bit. Yeah, this is pretty much one for one what I'm seeing in person, high def. Give or take. The light looks a little bit blown out on camera, but other than that, I do think the shadow detail looks fine on this. I remember the S90D had a little bit of a raised EOTF in game mode, so that could be going on here. And it's hard to tell unless it's next to another TV for me. I can't just eyeball that. But I could tell last year when it was next to the G4 how much brighter it was than the G4 and the shadows and stuff. It was just definitely a little bit too raised. I could tell. Let's see. Let's try a different game. I don't know what's. I'm gonna install some more games here pretty soon too. That game sucks. Without sucks. This is probably the only one I have installed right now. I bet Sea of Thieves needs an update. I wasn't planning on testing gaming today, so I just wanted to check it out for a second. Shine some light on it, see what you did there. Yep. So Classy would setting it in the Xbox to 4000 work better. Remember like you were trying that with the other one and it gave you problems in certain games. Some games it looked good and in certain games it was like blowing out the highlights a lot. So it's really probably going to be dependent on whether or not the game supports the system level calibration, right? And if it does, then it's going to vary. Sometimes it'll look bad. So original is bad to use for HDR gaming because of that, is what you're saying, I bet. I think you told me this before. Yeah. There's some issues with that, it looks like. Might have to reload, I don't know. All right, let's put on Spears and Munzel real quick, and then I'll wrap up the stream and answer any last second questions you guys have. I believe it's in there. Let's do 2000. Let's do good old 2000 and see how it handles that first. Let's take this out of game mode because I have it on game mode. I don't like having it on auto, but I probably should have it on auto. Quick settings. What? Oh, it's right here. It's a filmmaker. I don't know what generation panel it has, Hero, but it is better than the S90D. I can tell you that. Just off of first glance, it definitely reminds me more of what the S95D did. But I have to have it, you know, next to another TV to really give you that. The horses in the snow look really good. I see all the detail in the highlights. Looks good. Nothing was blown out there. Later, miners. Have a good night. ASBL? I haven't tested the ASBL yet. I will test it. Probably in a separate video, though. I think the best way to test ASBL is probably running like sports. And just like leaving it on time lapse, seeing how it reacts. Probably the best way to do it. I think Westbrook's been fine. I think he's been a pretty decent addition. Better than I thought it would be. Oh, that's right. It was the G3 that did that. Okay. Yeah, I got it mixed up with the G3, you're right. I remember now. I really want to see this compared to the C5 because I think this is gonna blow the C5 out of the water personally. Just going off of first looks, like I think so. Could be wrong. Surprised how good the C4 did next to the S90D last year, but I don't know, man. I don't think C5 is doing much against this. This is a good TV. I mean, the C4 was a good TV, but I'm saying like this reminds me more of the S95D than the S90D. It's gonna rip apart the C5. You might be right. The early figures out there was 1650 nits, you know, on a 2% window or whatever. 5% window too, I believe. It's pretty bright. 1400 and a 10% window. The image of the moose on the B cam had a very G4-ish pop to it. Everything has a big G4, like every TV on the B cam has that kind of pop to it, unfortunately. The B cam is not really representative of what I'm seeing ever. It's just there. Again, man, I can't stress this enough. I love showing you the HDR comparisons in my videos more than I do the streams. It's nothing against the streams. It's more just like, it's just such a better way to present it, you know? And that's what I've learned. That's what I've learned. Because there's no perfect way to show you this, man. Especially when you feed it through streaming software, too. Streaming software does its own thing to it. It's like you can't win half the time with it. C4 was a good jump over the C3, yeah. I heard the C5 over the C4 is only like 100 nits. So, not really a big jump there. But yeah, I did think the C4 was a nice surprise over the C3. But I think it pushed it to its limits pretty much. BCam does its own thing. BCam is doing its own thing. Yeah, unfortunately. I'll go back to that. How do I rewind on this? I keep remembering. That looks pretty good. You know, I judged this scene a lot last year. This was a famous scene for my stream, and I have to say this looks pretty good. This doesn't look like a mid-range TV. That's why I put in the title flagship level, because I truly believe this is a flagship level TV. Like, I truly believe it. Once this thing goes on sale, like later on in the year, it's gonna be hands down probably the best bargain you can get, like in terms of best bang for your buck value. And if it spanks the C5 like I think it's gonna spank C5, like if it really does a number on the C5, we might have to talk about like doing something LG on the mid range, because that's not gonna fly once the word's out on it. Yeah, I'm getting the S95F on Tuesday, and I will have a comparison between those two. It might be one of the first videos I get up. Honestly, it might be one of those things where I kind of rushed that one out because I can't wait to see it myself. And while I see it myself, I might as well film it and then post it for you guys the next day, right? Like that's what I'm thinking about doing. It's like, so I'm gonna get the S95F on Tuesday or Wednesday. Maybe you guys could expect the comparison the next day or the day after. And if I do a stream, it'll be after that video is released. All right, let me run the 1000 nit version. Alright, I'm gonna wrap this stream up in like 10 minutes, so stream is laggy. Okay, that's not good. I'm definitely gonna wrap it up then. I appreciate everybody for joining. Let me double check through chat, make sure I didn't miss anything. Appreciate the continued support. If you guys are gonna pick up an S90F, do it through Best Buy. It's the cheapest. And if you do pick it up, please use my affiliate link and get the S90F if you're gonna buy it within the next month. If you're not, wait, and it will be cheaper come June, July. I expect this TV to be maybe $100 cheaper than what the price was yesterday. I don't know. It's hard to say, right? It's hard to say with everything that's going on with the economy and everything. It's all Wild West this year. It's a whole new year. I'm not really sure how prices are going to be reflected this year, but that's how it's gone in the past. But if you just want to lock it in right now, save your money. If you're going to buy it within the next month, do it. Went up $200 today, tariffs. I don't think it has anything to do with tariffs. I think it's just Samsung is matching LG. I think it's as simple as that. I really do. They've done this before in the past. We've seen Samsung come in cheaper than LG and then later on move to match LG. They're always going to be the same price no matter what. If it's higher, lower, they're going to match. So I think that's what's happening. So if you want to lock it in through Best Buy. The link is in the description. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait for a bigger price drop. Also, if you don't like the TV that much, you do have like a really easy return process with Best Buy. So that's also a nice thing. Costco also has this price, and I believe they're running it through May 5th. So that's pretty interesting. I wonder if they're going to keep that or if they're just going to change the price all of a sudden tomorrow. If you guys enjoyed the stream, make sure you hit the like button on the way out. Leave a comment if I missed your question. And thank you. Thank you again, everybody, for showing up. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.